right. This insane MAGA regime had a huge circle jerk yesterday about Antifa. Antifa is not a real organization. But if you've noticed, they keep moving the goalposts. It's drag queens, and then they don't get enough support against that. And then it's trans people, and then that kind of falls flat. And then they've moved on to immigrants. And now they need to create a war so that they can declare martial law, so that they will not have elections, because that is how unpopular this administration is. That is how unpopular all of these policies are. So they're sitting there now in this room talking about an imaginary problem. They're talking about fires in Portland. There are zero. They're talking about Antifa attacking ICE agents. That is simply not happening. Let's play the first clip of Kristi Noem, who is a worthless twat at this meeting yesterday.
Been so bold in making sure we're bringing those individuals to justice. One of the individuals we arrested recently in Portland was the girlfriend of one of the founders of Antifa, and that we are hoping that as we go after her, interview her, and prosecute her, we will get more and more information about the network and how we can root them out and eliminate them from the existence.
Okay. If this girlfriend and her boyfriend is the founder of Antifa, they've got to be over 100 years old, because these anti-fascist movements go back over a century. America is anti-fascist. The Allied forces are Antifa. This is what they're talking about. They are having to stage a war. They're doing this on purpose because they know they cannot win. They have to stop the midterms, or every single one of them is probably going to face criminal charges, because they've all broken laws. And so here is Kristi Noem taking on Antifa in, I believe, Portland or Chicago. Play the clip. Okay, so for everybody watching, she's standing on a roof with somebody in military fatigues, and she's walking over to the ledge, and now she's looking down at a crowd, and there is a very small, peaceful crowd that she's looking at, because she's quote unquote fighting Antifa. And you hear some people shouting at her, which they have the right to do. And there's a man in a chicken costume. A man in a literal chicken costume. Nobody's fighting. Nobody has bombs. They have signs. Nobody has guns. And she's screaming back down at them. This is her attempt to fight Antifa. That is their evidence that all of this is going on. The videos that I've seen in Portland are a bunch of people dressed in costumes, protesting, etc. All right. Now we have Pam Bondi. You know, of course, she has to chime in after her completely insane, unhinged performance in front of the United States Senate. Play the clip.
Their hatred for President Trump and for law and order agendas fuels their violence. We've seen more than 1,000% increase in attacks against our ICE agents since January 20th. Secretary Noem is out there fighting for you firsthand to keep our federal officers safe, to keep our federal.
All right. First of all, you get to hate Trump. It's a free country. You get to hate President Trump. Just like when Obama was in office, they hated Obama. Just like the last 4 years, every single one of those people at the table hated Biden. You get to hate President Trump. These made up statistics about 1,000% increase is bullshit. And basically these troop deployments, you guys, are a false flag meant to provoke a response so that they can justify these harsh crackdowns. All of this is staged. All of this is theater to erode our civil rights. But I want to always highlight what the experts in authoritarianism are saying right now. And Ruth Ben-Ghiat is just absolutely understands this moment. She's a professor of history and an author at NYU. And Andrea Junker tweets, "You can joke about Pam Bondi's ridiculous unprofessionalism all you want, but I'm deeply shocked by it. She acts as if she fears absolutely no consequences, convinced that there will be no more political power transfers." And Ruth responds to her and says, This Bondi performance is designed to send an authoritarian message of total scorn for democracy. Congress, as a place where the opposition can grill government officials, is an outdated and offensive notion. Doesn't happen in Russia or China. Why should they have to tolerate it anymore? So Ruth is making the point that they are intentionally doing a lot of this to absolutely display a total scorn for democracy, a total turning up your nose to accountability. These politicians need to be grilled in front of the Senate. That is what democracy has, checks and balances. So as disturbing and petulant and immature as all of these events seem, it is intentional, and it is intentionally theatrical to say we get to do what we want with reckless disregard for the Constitution. And so all of these displays of we are doing away with the First Amendment, and we are canceling Jimmy Kimmel, and the way Pam Bondi behaved in front of the Senate, the way Kash Patel behaved in front of the Senate, that is intentional to say we are different. We are not going to do this the way you all are doing it. And I want to remind you all here, this is why we're playing two different games here. These people get power and they put their foot on the accelerator and they are making rapid change. 4 years ago, when Biden got power, he passed some good legislation, but they made incremental change. There should have been immediately after Biden was elected, they should have done something with the Supreme Court, because the way that seat was stolen from Obama, we're living with the consequences of that. And you think these guys would blink if we stole a seat from them? Do you think that they would blink? So I think it's super important, if we ever get power again, that we put the accelerator on the floorboard for democracy, for civil liberties, for equality. And I want to remind everybody, with all of this Antifa talk, Antifa is short for anti-fascist. I am an anti-fascist. All of you are anti-fascist. And I want to show you this famous photograph from World War II. These soldiers are anti-fascist. So we need to embrace this phrasing, because for the people that watch Fox News, that listen to right-wing media podcasts, they are thinking, oh, Antifa is so terrible. They need to know people that are Antifa, that identify as anti-fascist, people that identify as Antifa, are moms, are grandmothers, are grandfathers, are your sisters, are your neighbors. Antifa are Americans. There is no dues. There is no founder. There is no organized meeting. There is no violent sect of it. They went on in that circle jerk yesterday, talking about that Antifa was as organized as ISIS and Al-Qaeda and Hezbollah. They are lying. This is a false flag operation, and they are trying to start the appearance of some sort of civil war so that he can declare martial law or the Insurrection Act and suspend free and fair elections. And here's the guy that they're all doing this for. Here he is. Play this video of Kanks.
I also have two questions for you, if I may. Have you given any more thought to possibly suspending habeas corpus to not only deal with these insurrectionists across the nation, but also to continue rapidly deporting illegal aliens?
Yeah, is suspending who?
Habeas corpus. So.
Oh, I don't know. I'd rather leave that to Christie. What do you think?
No, sir, I haven't been a part of any discussions on that.
You guys, this is insane, that this idiotic villain, and he always says everybody else has a low IQ. We know why he says that, because at some point he took an IQ test and it's low. We all know that he is in the throes of deep dementia, because he always says he took a cognitive test and aced it. So we know he failed both of those things. This is who we're losing, in the throes of losing our democracy for. This man and all of these ass kissers that have pledged loyalty to a mentally ill, demented man so that they can protect his ego. It is utterly insane, but they're dead fucking serious about all of this. That's what's so maddening. Play this final clip of Kanks on the First Amendment.
1 year penalty for inciting riots. We took the freedom of speech away because that's been through the courts, and the court said you have freedom of speech. But what has happened is when they burn a flag, it agitates and irritates crowds. I've never seen anything like it on both sides, and you end up with.
Okay. He's never seen a flag in a crowd get caught on fire ever in his fucking life. And the Supreme Court, this has already been decided. There is precedent here that maybe you don't like it if you're a super duper patriot, but you can burn the flag. It is protected free speech. The fact that the president of the United States is just casually talking about that's why we did away with free speech, and all of these morons are sitting around next to him and the press and everybody in there, and then we're going to move on to today's news cycle, and he's going to say more crazy shit, and he's going to do more authoritarian shit. But it is so important right now more than ever that everybody stay locked in and you amplify our podcast, other pro-democracy podcasts, the messaging from J.B. Pritzker, the messaging from Gavin Newsom, where they are standing up to these cowardice, dorky, idiotic fascists. So please like and subscribe to our channel, and also buy our book. I'm in New York right now. Pumps is on a plane on her way up. So we'll be filming together over the weekend. And it's a great way to get to know us, a great way to get to know our show. Subscribe and like the channel. We'll be back later with more news.